So for men, this high functioning anxiety expresses more as a warrior response. I'm going to battle.
Mhm.
And this is ancestrally the truth, that when there was that level of ongoing trauma, it meant either famine or battle. If you look at our ancestors, right? And the male response is testosterone, growth hormone, go fight.
Mhm.
The female response was protect the tribe,
Mhm.
right? Store some fat on your body, elevate the nervous system, and be on red alert, looking for problems all the time.
Mhm.
It elicits a warrior response. So
Mhm.
warrior versus warrior. And these are our roles, or they were meant to be our roles. And now we live in a different world where we're not in those roles, so these tools aren't so useful anymore,
That's
right? So that's what's driving.
very interesting because it speaks to why the gene would have been carried over through the generations in terms of the benefit that it provided. And then
Yep.
the idea of a mismatch for the modern lifestyle.
Yep.
But it also is in direct alignment with the fact that the majority of people who suffer from chronic pain are women.
Yep. It makes a lot of sense. I can tell you, like when we're running programs, um, if I'm sitting in a group of 30 people, there's two men, right?
Mhm.
Typically. And over and over and over again, we have a healthcare system, first of all, is not designed for women, does not consider their circadian rhythm of the menstrual cycle, does not consider the circadian rhythm of life and from puberty to fertility to menopause and the changes, right? And so, 1 hour training of female health in 4 years of medical school is not going to get you too far in understanding the complexities of how to apply it for women. But then, yes, now hormonally, some women are not wired like this, and with DNA we can predict that, but the vast majority of women are wired this way, where it's worry versus warrior, and that applies in anything where there's a stressor or a trauma. Um, Women are wired to hold on to trauma, hold on to anxiety, and use it as a tool to protect the tribe. They were meant to be surveying the environment, looking for the bush that just shook, and maybe there's an animal running towards us, and let's go the other direction, looking for the change in the weather. But
Yeah.
those things were meant to be very infrequent. Not every day you wake up is nonsense, right?
Wow. It's also very interesting because in reading in preparation for this conversation, I was reading about links between specific genes and things like chronic pain and things like fibromyalgia. Here's a really interesting bit of information. Recent studies found that fibromyalgia was associated with disturbances in serotonin metabolism and neurotransmission. Majority
Hmm.
of people who suffer with fibromyalgia by far are women,
Hmm.
and there's that exact disruption that you were talking about. So it's
Yep.
like you don't bat an eye because you've seen all of the reports and you've had these 7,000 patients in front of you. So it's just representative of the data that you've collected.
Yep, it's exactly what you would see. There maybe was a very real problem at one moment in their life, and but why is it still going on?
Mm-hmm.
This should have gone away. The body is regenerative; it's designed to heal.
Yes.
And if it's not healing, there's a block, and the block is either inflammation, autoimmunity, trauma, or something along those lines. And the other end of this fibromyalgia story, getting into chronic pain, um, where does it come from? Like we're trying to treat this thing without even asking what causes it, because the cause isn't how our medical system works. So some women in their hormone cascade make estrogen metabolites that are toxic in nature, that are inflammatory. Again, for an old reality where a little bit of inflammation is actually good, just like going to the gym and tearing up your muscle is good for you,
Yes.
causes rebuild, right? The female reproductive system needs a bit of a struggle and challenge to maintain how robust it is, and so that inflammation would have been healthy. Now, add on top of that, 2024, all the hormone disrupting chemicals, all the cosmetics, all the perfumes, all the fragrances, all the Teflon coated frying pans, all the yoga pants, all these hormone disrupting inputs, and you're overloading that funnel that equals toxic estrogen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you all of a sudden have this wave of fibromyalgia because this toxic inflammation metabolite causes inflammation,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in tendons, ligaments, joints, right? That's where the stuff likes to go.
Yeah. All the
It also,
places where it shows up with fibromyalgia.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so when I hear words like fibromyalgia, you know, 5 years ago, I used to think it was a real thing. Now I don't.
Yeah,
Now I realize it's a name we give to something we don't understand, which is just a hormone cascade that is not designed for our reality.
yeah,
And we have to give it a name because so many people feel that same way, but that same way isn't a disease.
yeah.
It's toxic estrogens in the wrong part of your body overloaded by your habits.
If you enjoyed this short video, then hit that thumbs up button and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel, because next week I'm going to be releasing the full interview with Kashif Kahn of the DNA Company, and that segment has a ton of great information and some really valuable insights for anyone suffering with chronic pain. See you then.